Hello everyone, welcome to the screencast of Milestone 1 for DevOps project by Team Trilith. We would be giving you a demo of how whenever a push is made from a local to the remote repository, a build would be triggered. We are using the Jenkins server as the build server for this milestone. We've also used a DigitalOcean droplet to host the Jenkins server. We've installed Maven on this droplet as we would be giving you a demo of a sample Maven Java project, and the Maven version which we are using is 3.0.5. So we would go to the Jenkins dashboard, and these are the two jobs that we have configured to track two different branches of our remote Git repo. First is the Maven success branch and the second is the Maven failure branch. Also, we have used Git hooks, Git service hooks for the task of triggering build inside Jenkins. So we would show you a demo of two different scenarios. First would be a successful build and second would be a failure. So let's proceed with a successful build scenario. This is the local Maven success branch with a simple project to display hello world on the console. So as you can see, we have done some changes inside pom.xml and app.java. We've added a dependency of Mockito inside pom.xml, which would be installed during the build process. We also have written a sample test of JUnit, which would run in case of the build process. So just now we have just committed a change to our local, and we would further push the change to our remote branch. So we can see that the push was successful and the same would be reflected inside GitHub. We would now see the Jenkins dashboard to see if the build was triggered. So as you can see, there's a build number 5 which got triggered when the push was made to the branch of Maven success. So this is the log for the build, wherein you can see that the build was made and then the tests were run. And in this case, we got a build success with a mail being sent as a post-build activity. So as you can see, the subject line for this mail is Jenkins build successful, and the content would be your recent build for branch Maven success of this repo DevOps milestone 1 was successful. We would now start with the scenario of a build failure. So we would have to locally check out to the Maven failure branch. In this case, we would do some mistake in the syntax of the Java code. So as you can see, there's a missing bracket and a semicolon. And we would try to commit these changes and further push this particular commit to our remote branch. So you can see that the push to the remote branch from the local was successful, and we would see the change in GitHub on the Maven failure branch. Further, we have to see whether the build was triggered inside Jenkins. So we would go to the Maven failure job and go to the console output to see what exactly happens in this build. So as you can see, there's a missing bracket which got reflected inside build, and we got a failure. We've also configured a post build activity for sending emails. So there's a new email with the subject of M1 Maven failure, which gives the name of the job which failed, and further it also attaches the build log. We would now fix this scenario by providing the appropriate syntax. We now committed the change locally, and we would push this change to the remote. We would now see if the build has been triggered inside Jenkins. So we can see that build number 5, which is currently showing as the status pending because it tracks the GitHub repo. And now it is building it. It is installing the dependencies, it is running the test cases. As you can see that the test run is 1, and finally it gave a success. And we've also sent an email for this case, which essentially gives the status of fixed, which means that if there was a recurring failure and then we have fixed it, so then you would get an email that that particular job and the build has been fixed. We would now go inside Jenkins dashboard to see the configuration of the two jobs. So the first job is the Maven success job. The Maven success job is tracking the remote Git repo, which is DevOps project milestone 1 as shown before. Further, we are doing a clean install, which has been mentioned inside the goals. And we've also mentioned the root directory of the pom.xml. Further, we will see the post build activities, which will send email notifications to a list of users. In the advanced settings, you can see that this particular email would be triggered on success. And you can see that the subject line and the content have been customized whenever there's a successful build. We would now go to the Maven failure job and see the configurations for them. So the configurations are almost the same except for the post build activity, wherein the email, so in this case we have tracked the branch of Maven failure, which was the different branch being tracked. In the previous job, the branch being tracked was Maven success. And here there's a difference in the post build activity, which would send email notifications whenever there's a failure of any kind or whenever the failure has been fixed. So you can see that the two jobs are tracking two different branches of the same remote GitHub repo, and they are sending post build email notifications in different scenarios. Finally, we would like to see the Jenkins build history for the two jobs. So down there, there's an option to see the build history, wherein you can individually click on the build numbers and go to the individual build numbers and check the console outputs. The same would be applicable for the other job of Maven failure. So previously there were 4 failed builds, and finally the 5th build was successful. So this was the demo of how the build occurs whenever a change from your local has been pushed to a remote branch through a webhook. Thank you so much.